standing dumbstruck in a bedroom. One guileless hand thrust down your...
This piece is called The Trick Brain and uses footage that was originally shot by someone called Fabrice Mays and was used as part of the CD-ROM packaging for an auction for everything that was in André Breton's apartment. So this footage is the final kind of footage that exists of his apartment before everything was sold off in discrete lots at this auction. And the piece that I've kind of put together out of this footage is a meditation on this loss, basically. The flow of capital, the loss of a particular potential within the French government to own this stuff, but also the fact that these objects will never be brought together.
A catalogue of phrenological superstition. The most groped areas being the seeming cerebellum and the frontal lobe, roughly. All of this spotlit in the apse of a temple, somewhere deep in the colonic catacombs of Paris.
There's a narrative that goes over the top that is this very esoteric meditation on both André Breton, surrealist ideas, esoteric ideas, and also strange ideas around capital.
The relics of a system of capital that now seems so phenomenally archaic as to make me retch. A little hiccup of acidic shit brought up, as if the system were emitted.
There's also another chunk of footage which is from a different auction of this particular pistol. It's a Clockwork Gun, which was never owned by Breton. It was sold for something like $5 million. And you wind it up, it's covered in jewels, this toy, and you wind it up, you pull the trigger, and a bird comes out and sings, I think, a piece of the magic flute. I think that, you know, the collection of Breton, which covers, it's such an incredibly important collection that charts this very, you know, surrealism in all of its kind of manifestations, from its history. So there's a huge collection of primitive objects, all the letters that were written to him, all the books that he owned, this incredible kind of potted history in one place. And he kind of firmly believed in living amongst these objects.
Here, in the sacrosanct form of a reliquary, rendered in smoothed brass, brass buffed by the tender touches of countless passing apologists, to a high...
Massimiliano sort of saw bits of this last year and clearly was thinking around this idea of the Encyclopedic Palettes, and it completely fits with this ideas of how one maybe represents everything, or the idea of the absence of everything.
An egg, the shell of which the texture of sandpaper, as opposed to the ubiquitous glassy nothing of contemporary haptics. I think of youth, you exhort, when I think of the hyperfluency of surfaces abound these fucking days.
It's both a relationship to a kind of past where you could fill an apartment and it would be overflowing with stuff and you could barely move in this place. But also in this instance, it's a single file. The digital performs the imaginative act of being able to store so much more than we can possibly understand.